What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a little bit of a fun deck profile today. On stream, after I played a little bit of Ranked, I decided to open up some victory packs, and we stumbled upon an archetype that I've come to really enjoy. It's called Plunder Patrol, and I'm going to walk you through my build of the deck and just exactly what every card in the deck does. So before we jump into it, I do want to say, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You don't have to, but it does make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when you do. Let's get into the deck. Alrighty, so jumping into the profile. The one good thing about Plunder Patrol is that it basically builds itself. This deck has a lot of cards in it, and you need to run multiple of all of them. And so that really plays into our favor very nicely because the deck is super budget, minus there's 3 URs and then 2 URs in the extra deck, so there's only 5 URs in the whole core of the deck. And that plays out really nicely to our favor. So, jumping into the core, as I was saying, we have Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. We run 3 copies of this card. And so, the way Plunder Patrol works is that they are kind of a control deck that can kind of OTK third turn or so. And so, it's really fun to play the deck because you have to be thinking like 4 steps ahead every time. I would say you have to have a big brain to play this deck because you have to take control and really think about everything that you have to do. Like, your effects pop off at different times, and you have to take note of your resources and everything like that. So it is a very hard deck to play, but it is very rewarding. And also, it's just Goblin Vikings, Goblin Pirates, so it's just really fun to play in that regard. So we do run 3 copies of Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. So the special things with these cards is that during your opponent's turn, based on the attributes of your opponent's monsters, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol extra deck monster on your opponent's turn. And those extra deck monsters we'll get into in a bit, and they have a lot of control aspects with them. So 3 copies of Whitebeard, the Plunder Patrol Helm. This card is, you can activate this effect, special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your deck, but you have to have, when he's sent from the field, from the hand, the monster zone, or the graveyard, and everything like that. So this is a very good recruiter of the deck. He kind of tutors out a monster to the field if you have the ability. One downside to this deck is that they do have to have all of their resources. That's why it takes more than 1 turn for this deck to really pop off. And having a monster on the field that you have to have, having materials for an extra deck monster, and also having a card in your hand to discard is kind of hard. But with one of the cards that just got added to the deck a little while ago, it makes it a lot easier. So 3 copies of Whitebeard, and then we have 3 copies of Redbeard. Redbeard is kind of, I want to say Redbeard is the one I like to see the most, but he's definitely not the best card in the deck. So if this card is sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol monster you control, and then equip it to that card. So Redbeard is very good at beefing up monsters when they're in accordance with your field spell, but it's also just very good to have him equipped and everything like that. So he keeps a lot of things in motion. Going into our next card, we do run 3 copies of Bluebeard. Bluebeard is kind of underwhelming, but he is a very good extender in the deck. So if you control a Plunder Patrol monster other than himself, you can special summon him from the hand, and then you can discard a card to draw a card. So that is very good, but however, Whitebeard and Redbeard are just way better beards. But he does have his place in the deck. We do run 3 copies just because he's another name, and he is very good. Excuse me. So, going into the next, we do have 3 copies of Golden Hair, newest Plunder Patrol. So, this card is super interesting. I'm going to read the whole effect for you just because it is a lot to take in, but she is very important to the deck. Okay, you can send 1 other Plunder Patrol monster card from your hand or face up to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. So that's just very good. However, if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard a card, special summon this card, but you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except Plunder Patrol monsters. So this does lock you in, and that first effect is amazing. However, the second effect does lock you into Plunder Patrol monsters, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but you do want to set this up like at the end of your turn. Going into what I think is quite possibly the best card in the deck is Black Eyes, the Plunder Patrol Sea Guide. This card is super important, has to be a 3 of, because this card gives the deck everything that it's missing. And so you can target 1 Plunder Patrol monster in your graveyard, except this card, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, add that monster to your hand. So this lets you have a material on the board for your extra deck monsters. It also refills your hand, so you are able to discard cards and everything like that. However, it does lock you into Plunder Patrol monsters for the rest of that turn, which isn't a bad thing if you set it up at the end of your turn. If this card is sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol monster card in your spell and trap card zone and special summon it. So that works with Redbeard as it equips itself to that and everything like that. And so the way the deck works is super, super fun, and they all work really well together. I do think this deck is super fun. However, like I said, you do have to really, really think ahead and control your resources. So that is it for the monsters. However, we are running 6 hand traps in the deck. Just pretty basic stuff. I feel like the deck needs something, and a lot of people could be running kaijus and stuff like that to have your opponent have a extra deck monster or have a attribute on the field. Or you could run something like Aqua Spirit or Silent Angler to have water extenders. But however, I just feel like just this pure variant is the way to go. Excuse me. So we do run the 3 Effect Veiler. This card is obviously just negating the monster effect on the field, and it's super, super good. And then we go into 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Probably the most generic hand trap in the game. I run 3 in every deck just because it's super, super easy to use, and it's super, super influential just to interrupt your opponent. So that is the monster count. Going into the spells. Terraforming, just the 1 copy. It is pretty self-explanatory. There is a field spell associated with this deck, and we want to see it. So, the 1 Terraforming. Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is, it's such a double-edged sword. I run it in every deck. However, I do wish this could be Pot of Prosperity, but the extra deck is just so, so tight on space. You can't run anything other than Desires in this deck, I think. You can maybe run Moray of Greed, just because they are water monsters and stuff like that, but I feel like Pot of Desires is just the best way to go for that. So 3 copies of Pot of Desires, you gotta run it. Going into Plunder Patrol Shipping. This card is such a mouthful, but it is another Plunder Patrol name for our discard outlets and things like that. The first effect is okay. Fusion summon 1 Fiend Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Plunder Patrol monster you control, equip 1 emblem of the Plunder Patrol, or 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to that target. So this card is just kind of recycling your things like that, and it kind of tutors out what you need from the deck to get to your field, and then you can special summon it with Black Eyes or something like that. So Plunder Patrol Shipping, holy cow, I just rocked that title. We do run 2 copies. Going into the card mentioned in that card is Emblem of the Plunder Patrol. So this one's a little more important, I would say. You might be able to run it at 1 because it is searchable, but having the name and having it in the deck is just way too good. And the effect reads, equip only to a Plunder Patrol monster, it gains 500 attack. So this can be kind of a out to some big monsters if you need it and everything like that. Also, your opponent can't target it with card effects, so this makes your cards super protected. However, you can send this equipped card to the graveyard, special summon 1 Plunder Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute, and then take the monster that was equipped with this card and equip it to that special summon monster, and then it gains another 500 attack. So, Emblem of the Plunder Patrol is just kind of safe. It kind of just is another way to get out one of your extra deck monsters. However, it's just not that important. You could run it at 1, but I like it at 2. Going into possibly, I would say the most important spell is Plunder Patrol Shipyard. This is a very good starter. It gets you what you need in your hand. It can get you the Black Eyes that you need. It can get you the Red Beard that you need or the White Beard and things like that. So you can discard 1 card, add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. So this kind of really sets up your plays in a way that a lot of field spells can do. And so it's important at 3. And then also the second effect reads, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target a Plunder Patrol card in your spell and trap card zone, and then reset the field spell. And so it recycles materials and also gets you your field spell back. And so it's just super good in that regard. Going into just some generic spells for the rest of the duel, I do run 2 Forbidden Chalice. I feel like this card is super good just in general. It's only a rare, so it's easy to craft if you don't have it crafted. I say this in every one of my deck profiles that runs this card. Definitely craft this card. It's super, super good as just a staple. And then we do run Cosmic Cyclone. Now, Cosmic Cyclone could be any form of spell and trap card removal. However, I prefer Cosmic Cyclone in this format just because it banishes, and that stops Eldritch from popping off with all of their cards. And then the last 3 cards in the deck is 3 copies of Plunder, Patroll, Booty. That's right. This card's got booty, and we love it. So you can declare 1 attribute, then target a face-up monster your opponent controls. It becomes that attribute until the end of this turn. This card is so important. This card is crazy good. This is what sets the deck up to special summon all the monsters they need to from the extra deck. If this card leaves the field, that attribute is still the same. Then you can take a Plunder Patrol monster from your graveyard and either shuffle it into the deck or special summon it. Oh my gosh, this card is so good. Definitely 3 copies. I guess people say you could run it at 2, but I would play 3 because you want to see this card starting. This card is the lifeblood of the deck, I would say, and it is super, super important. So that is the main deck. It is 40 cards, and yeah, so let's just jump into the extra deck. Jumping into the extra deck, Plunder Patrol ship lists. This is, I would say, the best Plunder Patrol extra deck monster because it negates monster effects. So during the main phase quick effect, you can special summon a Plunder Patrol monster card from your hand or face up spell and trap card zone. And when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can discard a Plunder Patrol card and negate the activation and destroy it. And so yeah, if this card is equipped with a Plunder Patrol card, you can add a Plunder Patrol card from your deck to your hand. So this card does so much. Definitely the best Plunder Patrol ship. You could run it at 3, but like I said, extra deck space in this deck is super tight with the version I'm running, and so I like it at 2. I run every ship at 2. So then we have 2 copies of Plunder Patrol ship Brawn. This is our big guy. This is our OTK monster. All other Fiend monsters you control gain 500 attack, and you can discard 1 Plunder Patrol card, then target a spell and trap card on the field, banish it, and then add a Plunder Patrol monster from your deck to your hand. So that's a quick effect. It's just another banished spell and trap card removal, and it pumps up all of your monsters to get super, super high in attack. Now, the reason this deck is super, super crazy is because it can build attack super, super fast. Plunder Patrol ship Bran is an OTK machine. It is so good. Jumping into our last ship, we do run 2 copies of Plunder Patrol ship Moerk. So this is a kind of an interesting card. It's the Xyz that you'll make raw, like you want to just go into this card. And so you can discard a Plunder Patrol card, then target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, banish it, and then you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. That's a quick effect. So it's just a 1 target effect monster banish. And so this card can be super, super good if you have the Plunder Patrol card to discard, and it's just a 2500 defense wall. And then the last Plunder Patrol monster is Blackbeard, the Plunder Patrol captain. This is definitely the extra deck monster you'll go into the most, I would say, just because it does set up plays. You can use Blackbeard to summon out Lease, and then it will be destroyed, then you can equip Blackbeard to Lease, and it just kind of recycles itself like that. So this card is super good. It has the effect of all the other Whitebeard and Redbeard, so that you can summon a Plunder Patrol extra deck monster on your opponent's turn, and then you can just draw a card when it's destroyed and everything like that. So Blackbeard is definitely run at 2. You could say 3, but I liked running this other engine. So one other deck, this card's all waters, or this deck is all waters, and so you're able to run a very, very good water extra deck. We do have Totally Awesome. We don't have level 2, so we run Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is super, super good. This is usually your first turn play if you can't go into any of your Plunder Patrol cards. So you can just summon him, then bring out Totally Awesome, and then you can use a Plunder Patrol with Bahamut Shark to go into Blackbeard, and just set it from there. Bahamut Shark is super, super important, just because it brings out Totally Awesome. If you don't know what Totally Awesome does, it's freaking crazy. This card is so good. There's a reason it's limited. So you can detach one material from this card. Actually, we don't use that effect. You can send one Aqua monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard and negate the activation of a spell card or monster effect. So it's basically just an Omni negate that you can recycle itself. Because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one water monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So that you can recycle totally awesome over and over again. So it's very, very good. And then we have the Abyss Dweller. The Abyss Dweller is just detach one material, stop graveyard effects, and then it also boosts our water monsters by 500 attack. And then the last little engine besides Salamangreat Almirage. So Salamangreat Almirage is super, super good just for a first turn Blackbeard. So you can summon your Golden Hair or anything like that because she has less than 1,000 attack. And then go into Almirage, use their effects to special summon them back, and then go into Blackbeard. So it's just a good Blackbeard play. And then the next cards we run are Kriston, Hauki, Fibrax. Hauki does make a return in this deck. I believe I ran him in my very first Dark Magician deck, and we run him here for another Kriston card. So Hauki, Fibrax will bring out Valor, which then we can go into Quandax or something like that. So Quandax lets us Synchro Summon on our opponent's turn, and we will go into, forgive me for this name, Quarian Gandrax. Quarian Gandrax. This card is super, super good. It's just kind of an interruption on our opponent's turn, just go for going into a Hauki Fibrax. We don't go into this the most, but it is just kind of an alternate win condition. So if this card is Synchro Summoned, you can target monsters your opponent controls and or in their graveyard up to the number of Synchro materials used, and then banish them. And then if this Synchro Summon card is destroyed by battle, you can target a banished monster, special summon to your field. So it's just a kind of interruption play on our opponent's turn, and that's why we run it. Whew, so that was a long video, I would say, but that is our Plunder Patroll deck. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. I do want to talk about this deck more because I'm still learning it myself. This is just kind of my first draft of it. So thank you guys so much. If you liked the video, like I said in the beginning, like, comment, and subscribe. You don't have to, but it does make me feel all warm and fuzzy instead when you do. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.